Rachel Brosnahan had her big moment playing Lois Lane, but it definitely caused some marital issues because her husband's pissed over David Corenswet. Alyson Stoner, who was a beloved child actress on Disney Channel, just revealed she actually had an awful childhood because of the Hollywood system and also admitted to sexual assault. Clarkson, who had a very bitter and expensive divorce, was just completely snubbed at the funeral of her ex-husband. And hey there everybody, I'm Charles Prawl with Attention Span. Here's a list of every topic we're going to be covering today as well as the timestamps, and it all begins with Rachel Brosnahan had her career-defining moment playing Lois Lane in the new Superman movie, but it's definitely causing some issues at home because now she's actually having her husband really pissed off at David Corenswet. And during the marketing for Superman, director James Gunn said that Rachel Brosnahan actually had to do a 4-hour make-it scene with David Corenswet because they wanted to film the scene correctly. For this scene right here, which is only a few seconds in the movie, so it led to a lot of confusion online why it would take 4 hours of making out to film that. And then after that controversy happened, there was some resurfaced footage of David Corenswet being kissed by Rachel, where it was her idea to kiss him, and it was after they already said cut, so they were no longer even filming for the movie. Now, Rachel Brosnahan does have a history of dating her co-stars, with a big example being her husband Jason Ralph, where they met making the movie I'm Obsessed With You in 2013, and they got married 5 years later. Jason Ralph definitely doesn't seem to be liking the attention the new Superman is getting, where he actually liked this comment on his Instagram where somebody called him a cuck, saying that his entire legacy is being forgotten for the David Corenswet-Rachel Brosnahan kiss. That comment went unnoticed on his social media for weeks, but then when it was picked up by the media, people started hate commenting on Jason Ralph, so he's actually removed comments on all of his social media. Really can't blame the guy because the public visibly wants Rachel and David to be a thing, but at the same time they are still married and there should be that layer of trust, so there are definitely some problems here. And next up we've got Gwyneth Paltrow, and Gwyneth Paltrow is out there trying to sell candles that smell like her vajayjay, but when she's not doing that, she's selling books talking about her personal life, and here's how she trashed Jennifer Aniston. Gwyneth Paltrow first met Brad Pitt in 1993 when they were filming the movie Seven together, playing in husband and wife, and it wasn't just good on-screen chemistry where they had good off-screen chemistry as well, and because of that they started dating. They ended up getting engaged in 1996, but they ultimately split up, with Gwyneth Paltrow saying the reason just being the age gap, where she was 24 and he was 33, and she said she just wasn't ready at the time. And after that, Brad Pitt began dating Jennifer Aniston, where their agents actually set them up saying they'd be a good A-list Hollywood couple, with him being in movies and she being in Friends, and it actually worked out where they got married in 2000 and stayed married for 5 years. And Gwyneth Paltrow was definitely not happy in 2000 where they got married, where it was reported at a dinner party she told everybody that Brad Pitt was dumber than a sack of... Now, Gwyneth Paltrow just had a new biography done on her, and she can't obviously just make the biography about selling scam woo products, so she actually has to talk about her relationships. Obviously, to sell books, Gwyneth Paltrow talks about her relationship to Brad Pitt a lot, and in the book, the biographer does mention that Gwyneth Paltrow said that Brad Pitt had horrible taste in women and was dumb with that choice. And doing that, she really only could be referring to two people, one being Jennifer Aniston, the other being Angelina Jolie, and she doesn't actually know Angelina Jolie as well, so very clearly she's talking about Jennifer Aniston, who she claims to be friends with. And after people accused Gwyneth Paltrow of coming out against Jennifer Aniston, she did clarify they are still friends and actually very close to each other, and they do talk about their ex Brad Pitt, but there's still definitely some problems here. And with Gwen out of the way, now we're going to Margot Robbie, and Margot Robbie is one of the most successful actresses in the world, where she made $50 million doing the Barbie movie, but now she's being shut down for it by Muslims. When the Barbie movie first came out, they actually shocked a lot of people because they didn't have a single openly gay character in the movie. That was actually explained by Barbie's director Greta Gerwig, saying she had no opposition to putting a gay character in the movie, but because the characters are supposed to be dolls without clear sexualities, there just never was a reason to mention anyone's sexuality. Instead, they decided to put a lot of LGBT actors and actresses in the movie and not make their sexuality a big point to the actual story, like Harry Neff, who plays Nurse Barbie, who is a transgender actress. Also cast Kate McKinnon, who is an open lesbian, and she said because her Barbie doesn't have a Ken, it clearly shows where her Barbie stands. And because this when Barbie came out, there was actually a huge boycott from Christians in the United States who wanted to boycott the Barbie movie, but now it's actually Muslims in France. And Muslims are a very growing part of the population of Paris, France, where in 1960 they were only 0.9% of the population, then in 2000 it was 9%, today it's 14%, and by 2050 is expected to be about 18.5%. Because that recently the Margot Robbie Barbie movie was supposed to have a showing in France, being outdoor and available to the public, but a lot of Muslims saying it had too many homosexual overtones, protested and boycotted and even threatened the movie, so because of that they canceled it because they were worried about the lives of the people attending. It just really shows how crazy radical religions get, whether they be Christian, Muslim, or Jew, where they are trying to censor media, and this is just an absolute problem that can't continue in this world. And moving past Margot Robbie and Barbie, we're moving into Pamela Anderson, and Pamela Anderson might have just been able to successfully move from being a bombshell actress into being this older, more successful actress, but she's still facing public pressures, and now she's being pressured to attack Meghan Markle. And Pamela Anderson was the bombshell actress of the 1990s, where she started posing in Playboy when she was just 22 years old, then got into the show Baywatch. Then she had a rough career entering her 30s, where in 1999 she tried to be taken as a more serious actress, so she tried to have her breast implants removed, and they were removed for a few years, but then after not having much success, she had them redone instead. And she didn't really have a resurgence until 2024, doing the movie The Last Showgirl, which was a success, making $7 million on a budget of $2 million, and also got her a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress. She's actually having a lot of success in the vegan cooking world, where she is hosting a show called Flavor Networks, where it's all about her just doing vegan recipes. But now recently, Meghan Markle also released a vegan cooking show, so because of that, a lot of people are accusing her of ripping off Pamela Anderson, and they're also trying to frame that with this clip right here being an example of that.
How much of a ripoff did you feel like With Love Meghan was of your show, Pamela's Cooking with Love? There were articles saying that these two shows were very similar.
One, I didn't.
You did not, on a scale from 1 to 10, on 1.
No,
You did not see any similarities.
No, I didn't really look, but I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't invent cooking shows or
Yes.
shows, so I mean.
Yes.
There's a very visibly uncomfortable Pamela Anderson who doesn't seem to know Meghan Markle well at all, but she does at the same time realize that she didn't create the cooking show, and the question itself is just absurd, trying to cause controversy. Now that we're done with Pamela Anderson, we're moving on to Kelly Clarkson, and Kelly Clarkson had one of the worst celebrity marriages of all time and one of the worst and most expensive divorces ever, but now just to make things worse, even though her ex-husband's dead, she's been completely snubbed in the funeral and obituary. In 2013, Kelly Clarkson married Brandon Blackstone, who didn't have any money personally, but did come from some because his stepmom is country singer Reba McEntire. Money became the biggest problem in their marriage, where Kelly Clarkson would give him $81,000 a month just to be able to pay for some of his properties, and it was expected with all the other expenses he had, she was spending about $200,000 every single month on him. Instead of getting a real job, he became Kelly Clarkson's scam manager, where he was trying to run his wife's career and actually took $2.6 million that he didn't give to her and took it illegally just so she could perform and he could pocket the cash. They ended up getting divorced, and they had a huge battle over a $17 million mansion, and he also requested $450,000 every single month in alimony, but they ended up settling on $150,000 a month, and he got $1.2 million up front in the divorce as well. Even though Brandon might not have been the best guy, he definitely didn't deserve his fate, where he passed away just at the age of 48 from skin cancer recently. Now with the obituary and also the funeral speeches, there's definitely a snub going on for Kelly Clarkson, where the family's opted not to put any mention of Kelly Clarkson's name. Instead, the family decided to put Brittany Marie Jones' name in the obituary, saying she was the love of Brandon's life, and Brittany was actually Kelly Clarkson's assistant, and many people believe that Brandon actually cheated on Kelly with her. Obviously, sad Brandon died, but I don't think, truth be told, he was the best husband in the world for Kelly, and I think he just cared about her money and fame. And before doing the final segment, I want to talk about something people on YouTube strangely love me for, which is the polls, and I want to mention this poll right here yesterday, where I asked people which one they'd imagine has the best health codes, and Chick-fil-A hands down won, with KFC losing. So I actually looked that up, and strangely enough, the two best health code restaurants in the entire United States are Taco Bell and also White Castle, which shocked me, and the worst were actually Wendy's, Burger King, and Hardee's. They had the worst ones. KFC and McDonald's both did okay, and Chick-fil-A and KFC were around the same. For the final topic of the day, Alyson Stoner. Alyson Stoner was once one of the biggest child actresses in the world for Disney Channel, but she actually revealed she had a horrible childhood and went completely broke, and to make things even worse, she was sexually assaulted by someone who she's not giving the name of. Alyson Stoner recently revealed she had a really unhappy childhood, where her mother was an alcoholic, her stepfather was very abusive, and her father wasn't in the picture at all, but she was able to find success early on with acting, and her parents wanted her to pursue it to make money. She revealed she wasn't socially well adjusted because her parents made her drop out of school when she was just 9 years old to pursue acting, and they didn't homeschool her properly, so she wasn't well adjusted, and she also wasn't learning a lot of basic things. There were a lot of sad moments that happened in her career, like having the show Better Days, which was a backdoor pilot on the show That's So Raven, and was supposed to become its own Disney show with her in the lead. Disney ended up canceling it before it became its own series, and they restructured and retooled it with Miley Cyrus to become Hannah Montana. And then Alyson Stoner also suffered financially, where she wanted to actually retire from acting for a brief period when she was in her 20s, but couldn't because her mom spent almost all of her money, and the remainder that was saved for her was poorly managed, so she had $0 in her bank account. Definitely the worst story mentioned by far is Alyson Stoner saying she was assaulted sexually by another person in the entertainment industry, where she went on a retreat, but then she went into a person's hotel room, and this person who she thought was a friend definitely wasn't. She's not confirming who this person is, if she's taken legal action, and she's definitely not saying how old she was when it happened, but definitely some bad things happen, and this is really just proof that people in the child actor world do have to suffer a lot. Anyway, guys, that was the first episode of Attention Span, and thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope we do more long-form videos like this. I've tried to do other long-form stuff in the past. I don't love doing like the higher produced videos. I don't really love the 5-minute videos because some stories just don't justify it. So I think blending the shorts together and also maybe trying to talk more about the polls is the right idea. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for watching. I'm Charles Peralta. Please subscribe to learn something.